So if you are trying to get out of your throat with your singing and you're trying to not grab and the voice feels thin or weak as a result, this is a fairly normal thing. So when we learn how not to grab, when we train ourselves to release tension in the throat, oftentimes what happens is you get into a mode where you don't know what to use. You don't know how to close the cords without squeeze or without tension, and developing that new, better habit takes some time. Hi, I'm Anders. I'm a baritone and tenured company member at San Francisco Opera. I've spent over 20 years singing on some of the biggest stages in the country, and I can tell you from experience, what makes a voice carry, what makes a voice strong in space is not about volume or power or muscles or any of that. It's about coordination and efficiency. So in today's lesson, we're going to talk about how to add phonation, how to get closure of the chords without squeeze or pressing or excessive volume or anything like that. The first step to this is to, first of all, find where that release exists. And for me, it's always in this idea of falsetto. Disengaging chords, really check in and make sure that the chords are in a place where they're relaxed, where air is flowing freely through the chords, and you're allowing air to take the voice. You're not making the voice happen by muscles or by reaching for a tone, a pitch, whatever. You're focusing on allowing this to get out of the way and pass air through chords, okay? And so this might be the central problem. This might be kind of the issue when it comes to learning how to release the voice, is how to bring back the strength into the voice. And so what I'm going to work with you on today is how you can get closure of chords without all that tension creep, okay? So let's just jump right into it. So we're going to start with a staccato exercise. On an E vowel, let's try staccato. E, 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 e. E, 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 e. And it's very important to keep the lightness in the voice, and what you're doing is you're training coordination in your falsetto. And that onset is strengthening those little muscles of phonation. It's getting those stretched chords to come together, and so you're getting fine edge contact in a position where CT is engaged and you have stretch, cricothyroid is engaged and you have stretch of the chords and some tilt happening. So you have freedom in the larynx. And what this is doing, it's getting those chords to get used to coming together in that free place, in that released place. So let's continue. Good. So do be careful that you're always checking in with this lightness. It should feel easy. It should feel as easy as exhale. But we're working on very fine edge contact here. We're working with like very, very small muscles to try to coordinate that closure against the air. And it can be exhausting. It can wear you out. So just be careful and always make sure you're checking in with release. So the next exercise that we can do to strengthen this closure and this kind of ease is kind of like a Yodel exercise. So we do this on like an oo vowel. Oo is good. Oo and E are very good vowels because they put you in closed position. And the whole idea in technique in general is to keep pressure inside. You want to build what I call your vocal column. You want to have some width and some height and depth. This full column. And you always want this to be intact. And ideally, you want that full sort of pressurized column of air to be engaged and to have the chords basically just floating in space, floating inside this pressurized column. And they can tilt, they can move, they can stretch, they can do all the things they need to do, but never by collapsing the column. The column has to remain intact always. This is the idea of gola aperta, open throat. And what I find oftentimes in beginner singers especially is you collapse space to make phonation happen. And what I'd like to encourage you to do is not to collapse that space, all right? Never collapse that space. Allow phonation to come to be a more gradual, to be an easier process. And if that means it's going to be a little breathy and a little weak at first, that's okay. But we can build that. We can build strength and coordination in that over time, and it'll come faster than you think. So in this next exercise, which I'm calling the Yodel, I want to start in an oo kind of position, oo, oo, which is closure at the lips and some amount of space in the back. So it's like in the back, but it's closed at front. So it's ooh, 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 ooh. So make sure you have that little bit of lift. Check in with the falsetto on this. This is really the best way to do it. And then try on a yodel. Try yodeling. Ooh, 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 ooh. So find that little flip between falsetto and full voice. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. And I'm looking for like a little bit of cry, a little bit of yodel. Ooh, 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 let's do a few more. Always trying to keep the space inside. So I'm keeping it light, and I'm trying to check in that sort of flip. I'm trying to find that space between falsetto and chest voice, between head and chest. Ha, ha, ha. Like it's like little cry. That's the middle place, and that's what you're looking for. Okay, so on this next exercise, we're going to put it on an ah. We're going to do staccato again in this one. And what we're looking for is we're trying to keep it as light as falsetto. Very light, a little breathy. High the position. Remember this idea of vocal column. It's from the top of the head to almost your solar plexus, the diaphragm area. So ribs are open, throat is open. Ooh, we have nice stretch through the palate, through the soft palate. And so on an ah, on a sort of neutral ah, not a very bright ah, by the way. Important to note that in order to maintain the integrity of your column, all vowels have to sort of modify to a more neutral sound. So ah becomes more like an You have a little bit of in the sound, not ah like this, not at the moment. So always keep that height there, okay? So what we're looking for, we're going to do a little staccato in a light voice. And I'm singing a little fuller than I was before on the 3-note exercise, but it's still light like falsetto. And I'm looking for that that little bit of edge, that kind of cry edge. It's like whine or cry. And I check in with falsetto to see, am I light? Am I light? Am I getting phonation, but is it weightless still? So I check in always, and I don't keep it very far from falsetto. It's extremely close. And up higher, it's a little harder. It's a little harder, honestly. And so up there, I would say err on the side of caution and just keep it light. Just like don't really get larger than falsetto. The only way in which you can do that in a weightless quality is to really embrace this this kind of edgy quality. If you have that up there and it's still weightless, then you can grow, and that is the idea. It is hard. And you can take that up as high as you're comfortable. And then come back down. Let's come back down. Keeping it light. Checking in with falsetto. Great. So then how do you apply that to your repertoire? I would always say, keep it light. Always come from a light place with this. So in other words, falsetto. Ave Maria, gratia plena. So in this phrase, I'm really focused on keeping light, keeping some line, and trying to find that very, very thin edge phonation. And if I can't find it, if I don't have it on the day or in my practice, I always come back to falsetto. I start from falsetto. We build this from nothing. We build this from the ground floor, which is falsetto. Falsetto is great because it's released, it's on the air. You can build that space and that position. And then you can be uncompromising about that because you don't care about closure of chords. Chords you will learn how to close. You will learn how to close chords. You don't have to squeeze or collapse anything for that. And in fact, the opposite. You need to maintain the integrity of this column always, which means opening the ribs, dropping into your body, creating some height on the tone. Ooh. So we have this expansion happening. Expansion happens vertically and horizontally, okay? So in this phrase, Ave Maria. This is just falsetto, right? This is just falsetto. So how do you add to that? Same idea. Looking for that bit of cry, that bit of whine, or that edge to the voice, yeah? This. I exaggerate. Ave Maria, gratia plena. Always this. Maria, gratia plena. Maria, gratia plena. Ave, ave Dominus, ave Dominus. Always this. And what this is getting light edge contact of stretched chords. This is how you get phonation without collapse and without gripping and without squeeze. And practice this for 10 to 15 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day. Not more than that. It's pretty intense and it can be difficult for the voice to get used to this, but it will absolutely help and it'll get you results much more quickly than you think. All right, thanks for watching. And if you like this kind of content, you can get in touch. You can DM me if you're on mobile, or you can book a free assessment with me if you're ready to work on your voice. You can find the link in the description if you want to book a call. Please consider giving a like or subscribe if you haven't done so already, and turn on notifications.